Hello, welcome to the channel. So we've got a Wem Control Power 15, or Wem Custom 15 as these are often known as. This amp is from about 1965-ish, I think. And if we just look over the top there, you can see all the controls are in the top. We've got the AC power light there. We've got on off, which is, I'm not sure if that's one of the volumes or the tones. I can't remember now what the no, it'll be the volume. It's on one of the channels. So we've got the tone there for this channel with the on off switch. We've got tremolo, speed and depth. We've got another volume there for another channel, and we've got tone as for that channel. That's the microphone channel, I think. And this is just the inputs for the normal, which would probably be the guitar channel. Let's turn it around. Just looking at the back, you can see the sockets there. Not much to see. The voltage selector, RCA jack or phono plug as we call them in this country. That is for the foot switch. Someone has put an extension socket on the back, but I don't think that's connected up because I can't feel any wires on there. You can just see that there. The wires inside there. Let's get this thing powered up. Now this is coming for repair, it's coming for a service, so it is a runner, just needs a service. Got the plug on there. It's got the plug there. You can see it doesn't have the insulation on there. Not that I set too much store by that, but nonetheless. Oh dear, look at the ground. There's the yes, the screws missing there. That's not is that inside the plug? Oh, it is inside the plug. Yeah, so that's fallen out. You can see there. Let's see what the others are like. A bit loose. Nip those up. And of course we've got our old faithful friend, the 13 amp fuse, so he's got to go. Another one to the collection, so we need to change him as well. Right, fired it up. So we've got some frying going on there, as well as the try these inputs first of all. So I've got the volumes turned down now, and if we go up close, you can hear there's quite a bit of frying going on there. So this amp really just needs a full service. Sounds like we've got some plate resistors crackling away and whatnot. So yes, we've got the socket on the back, but it's not connected up. So let's have a look inside. Get some light in here so we can see. You can see we've got an ELAC speaker there going on. Rectifier tube, that looks like EZ81, 2L84. Looks like the original tubes at a glance, you know. Tomlinson, radio, TV. Osmonton Road, Derby. doubt if that's still there. Yep, that looks like a 10-inch ELAC speaker. Now this amp will be PC board, as you can see up there. We just go in and you can see this has never been touched at all. There's a very burnt dropping resistor there. That may have been changed. And I think there's a capacitor there with its guts hanging out, or just starting to hang out. Looks like it's still got the original fuses in there. Let's get it out its case, and then we can have a closer look, can't we? Right, so I'm just looking at the condition of this power cable, and that doesn't look very good there. Doesn't. It's one of those rubber ones as well. Just looking at it, very stressed in places. So I think we'll have a new power cable on it as well. So let's have a bit of a look in here. It's looking not ever so splendiferous, is it? Let's just ease the camera in so we can see. And if we look, so we can see these caps. This one's spilled his loins, so he's had it, and these won't be far behind. And that one's just beginning to spill his loins, and that one doesn't look sparkling in the corner there either. But I've already ordered replacements for those. They've arrived. Not sure what's going on here. I think that's obviously been snapped off at some time and somebody's made that up. We best have a look at that, hadn't we? It's nothing though. Nothing we can't sort. Just have a look. Yeah, these plate resistors all need changing because of the noise. This capacitor here, I think we'll change him as well. And let's have a look. I think we'll change him as well. So we'll just completely recap this. It's obviously original. These caps have been in here over 60 years, and these are, as you can see, these are already failing. That one's failed. This drop-in resistor here is really badly burnt. Is that a 270 ohms? That's really fried, isn't it? So I wonder why that's fried. That means we're drawing excessive current somewhere. Yes. What we got up on inside the pots? Bad soldering there. Oh, that's just that thin wire. And that capacitor there. My God, that's been burnt. That could have been done from the factory. It could. Although someone has been working around here, so probably not. Well, again, that could have been done at the factory. Who knows? You don't know. I mean, you just don't know. But that says excessive current to me, because that is burnt. I wonder if that's even got any resistance. It must have, because the amp wouldn't work, would it? But let's just have a look at some of these tubes, because I think all these tubes are the original ones. Mullard ECC83. Now if I find some more potent glasses, we may be able to see the codes on here. I don't see any codes on this one. No. Let's try the other one. get a date on these tubes. There, that one. Ah, that's a different one though. That's a yellow print. B3L1. B is Blackburn, I think. Just have to look these up and see what they are. But I'm guessing that one's been replaced. That's Blackburn again. I think that says BOK9 maybe. Output tube. Nah, that's had a bit of heat, hasn't it, by the look of it. Doesn't say what that is either. They've been grilled. That's another Mullard one. It's a Blackburn 1C5. And then we've got that. Oh dear, look at that. That's like wax. I don't know what that is. And that's a Blackburn one. So all the tubes are Blackburn. Got some terrible gumption on these sockets. Deary me. So as someone at some point put something on these tube sockets to thinking that they're actually cleaning them, but it's probably why we've got all that frying as well, not to mention the resistors. It's probably all the gunk that's in those sockets. They may end up having to be changed if we can't get that out. Otherwise you just get constant problems. These two have not been touched though. It's just these four here. We shall have to get the alcohol in there, won't we? But it's pretty gunked. Good news though with this board is it's quite easy to change these components. You just solder them from the top there. It's pretty good. My word, that is baked. Must have had some excessive current going on there. We need to check these tubes, see if there's any shorts on them. I think that's the first thing we ought to do, is just test these tubes. So let's get the tube tester on the go. Just bring the camera back a shade, and we can check. We need to plug it in. Let's start with the EL84s. That's EZ81. Start with the 84s. So 5E1 168. Test is 3. He's gone in there. There we go. Well, he's looking okay. Yes, he's a lumberjack and he's okay. No shorts. And you often find this, and again, you know, these tubes are 60 years old and are still going strong. Still going strong after all those years. And that one again. No shorts on that one. So they're a good set of tubes. They're dishing out plenty of gumption. Let's try these Mullard ECC83s. So 9E1. Test is 3 and 8. Be quiet, beard, we're busy. And that's a cracker. So is that. Nothing wrong with those. And they're not testing brand new, but there's still plenty of life in those. No shorts. So that one's good. Let's try this one. Yep, it's looking good. Yep. Socket's a bit getting a bit worn. There we go. Nothing wrong with him. No shorts. So let's try this one. Let me just let Beard out. Go on, Beard. Clear off. Right, let's check this one. No problem with that one. And 3. A good lump of wax on him though. So he's a result. So now we need to test the rectifier, which I know will be 5E1 on there, but we need to find out from the book. So there we go, that's testing really well. Yep, so that's a winner. So all the tubes test really good. Right, so I'm just going to power this up again. There we go. And I've got I've just got a resistor connected to it, the speakers thing, just to dummy load it. Well, we'll just do a bit of testing. So I want to test across that resistor that's grilled. Yeah, got 305 on there, so 235 on there. See where that goes. Goes down to here. There. 235. 28. 285. Where's that going down to there? Yep. So that must be the screen voltage. Yep. So what's that connected to? That's the I've just realised what that is. It's the bias resistor, isn't it? That's the bias resistor. Why? So someone's replaced that. There's 10 volts going across it. Not a lot of voltage, but it looks like it's had some at some time. It doesn't appear to be hot. So at some point there's been a problem in this amp. Maybe it has had another tube change then, because one of these tubes is nondescript. So maybe it's had a red plating tube, and that's what's caused that to get burned like that. I think we'll change that anyway. And the cathode resistor, the bypass cap's obviously gone. Look at that. Ooh. Gumption coming out of him. You see, he's yeah, he's all over. So this amp just really, obviously it just needs a complete recap. Most of the caps are tired. There's little point in leaving these in. They're so old now, and they don't, I mean, they look reasonable. That's probably tops of those. That's probably the best description of them. So is that a coupling cap for the tubes? Because that's the grid. Let's have a look if there's any voltage leaking onto those. Nope. And the other one is there. Well, they seem okay. Not showing any signs of leakage. I'm pretty sure they're the ones, because that's the grid. Yep, that's right. So they don't look to be leaking. Those mustard caps often aren't. So we need a full recap. We need to clean all this wax or oil or whatever's on these tubes, sockets as well. We need to get all that cleaned off. The boards, oh dear, they've had. So someone's been in here with the oil again, as usual. So if we turn it, so you can perhaps see in there. Let's get these tubes out. We don't need those now. So if we look now, we can turn it that way over now, and if we just get the light so we can go in a bit more, you can see the oil sprayed all over there. So that's a bit of a, let me just back the camera because it might just be out of focus there. So you can see all the oil on, all stuck on those. It's been sprayed all down here. They've even sprayed it over the fuses, probably WD-40. So that's, and you can see where it's been oversprayed there on the chassis. So that's all going to have to be cleaned off as well. What a mess. And the board doesn't look much better, does it? As you can see, the board, a lot of flux, a lot of gunk and gumption on there. So, but that's all from the factory. That's not, nobody's done that when they've been servicing it. This amp's not been touched in this area. These caps have never been. I'm not even sure if it wouldn't surprise me if that's factory, you know, whether that just broke off and they've just fixed it. And the reason what makes me think that that is probably factory is because this blue wire, this tubing that they've put over the caps there, it's also inside here as well. You can see, so here, and again, even though that's all burnt and a bad connection, that's probably factory. What do I say about all these old Voxes and Wems? Grandma made my amplifier. I think the grandma that made this one was probably rushing to get home for tea. But never mind, nothing we can't sort out. But there is a fair bit of work to do. So we need a full recap, but these mustard capacitors seem okay, so I don't think we've got to worry about those. There's Weimar here, not sure what he's doing at a glance, but he seems okay. I'm guessing these three are for the tremolo. They'll probably be okay. He probably will. They do leak sometimes, these, but not often. And these mustard caps rarely leak. And obviously we've got to clean all the board, check all the resistors. We've got to replace that cathode resistor, it's baked. We'll find a schematic. We need to clean off the gunk off the board. We need to clean the gunk off this board, clean all the gunk off there. We need to do the same on the tube sockets here, all the gunk, and we need a new power cable because I'm not happy with that. That there is damaged, and as I said, that, so risk of short if that's beginning to break down inside. So it looks like it's been trapped. Right, let's tip it over. As you can see, these usual pancake type transformers there, that the common on these Wems. We've got a breakage there on the output transformer. These filter thing, this is broken. That we've got, that's, oh, they've all been cut off. Are they all broken then, or are they all cut off? Let's look at that. Let's get that back a shade. Yeah, if we look at all of these, it looks like they've been cut off. Yes, they've been snipped. You can see they have. It's a bit Heath Robertson. I wonder why someone's done that. So that needs a coat of looking at. TCC of this electrolytic. Right, so we know what we're doing. Let's and you can see it's not very nice on here either. Very gunky and messy. But yes, all four of those are disconnected, so they've not just come apart on their own, have they? They've been snipped for some reason. Has the output transformer been changed? Maybe. Don't know. Probably not. Because otherwise, why would these be left on? They wouldn't be on it, would they? They wouldn't have put them soldered just one end of them on and left them again. So yes, so we just need to. In fact, it looks like it's been dropped at some time because probably can't see, but we just roll it over. The is bent upwards, the bracket, but we can sort that out. It's no big deal. Find things loose on amplifiers anyway, even on all amps. Considering its age, that's nothing. Right, so I've just something else has just dawned on me as well. This is also a cathode resistor. This has got a resistor per a cathode resistor for each tube. So you've got a pair of them, 270. Just realised there, 270, and that is actually a carbon comp. It looks like a metal oxide resistor. It does, but it's actually not. Actually, now I've looked at the bottom there, and I'm not looking through the camera. That looks like a metal oxide resistor there, but that's really badly burned. So that's been in there years. At some time, it's had a tube go up. Hence why this one's okay. It's just been a singular tube there. Yeah, so we know that's 270 now. Yes. You can see the as I went to solder that with the pliers there, unsolder it, you see it just dropped out. That's amazing that was even working. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know, maybe it wasn't connecting. It measured though, didn't it? But that's all over. So that's the TCC 16 microfarad, which on the later Wems was 32. So we'll probably put 32 in there. Of course, this circuit's identical, really, virtually to the Dominator Mark III's. And you can see that where that capacity, that resistor's been, you can see the board's a bit charred there. So I've lifted all these components that I've lifted. These are all the components that I know for a fact I'm going to change. Plate resistors, capacitors. This Weimar, I've raised this to test it. I've tested most of the resistors, all the ones that I'm leaving in anyway, and they all test pretty good. So some of them are really accurate. So no problem with those. Now, these are the 270 ohm resistors that we've got here for the bias here. So I remember that we had 305 volts plate to ground, but we had 10 volts across the cathode resistor, and we've got 270 ohms, so that 10 divided by 270 equals 37 milliamps. Take away 5% for the screens, take 10 off the 305 for the voltage across the resistor, plate to cathode, times it by 295 equals 10.37. That's roughly where the bias is. So I've got some really nice 240 ohm resistors which should do that, and the bias will probably still be below 11. So I'm going to, somewhere I've got some of those, I'm sure I have. I think we use those on another project as well. So if I can dig those up, I've got 300 ohms there. dig those up. We'll put those in, I think. Now the caps came from Modulus, as do most of my caps. They are here. So we've got 50 plus 50 there for the, that's pink, excuse me, pink. So that's good. And I've also got a bag of goodies here, and I've got, there's two 33s in there. That they are for the Selma, sorry, the Kelly amp, and then these are the capacitors for the bypass caps and the bias on this, and these are the ones we're going to put in here. So you can see I've cleaned the board, and you can still see some of the stains from the alcohol there, so we'll probably just go over that again there. This is okay here. It's hard to dry it between the components though. Wipe it off. There's a lot of gunk, but one of the reasons why I need to clean this board is so much gunk on it. If you're not careful, you can get voltage leaking onto the grid of the tubes, as like you do on the fenders. So we need to make sure all that's cleaned off. You can see the board's burnt there from that resistor when it got grilled. You can see we've got these 240Rs. You can see they're just loads bigger than those. These are 6 watt each, so they'll be ideal in there. Now you can see I've got this resistor here, which I've just placed in but not soldered. See, what you got to be careful of with this board is you solder everything from the top, which is great because it saves you having to take the board out. But if you push the pins down too low, they'll be grounding. There's not a lot of height on here, so if you're working on one of these, be careful not to push the pins through too far so they don't ground out on the chassis, or you'll end up with some dead shorts in there. But there's one of our 240R resistors in there. So quite an easy thing to work on. It'd be even easier if I'd got any solder in here. There we go, that's the first one in. There we go, and I'm lifting all these off the board as well, just keeping them up and off the board. I'm just going to ease that away from that as well, just to keep any heat from that cap. But to be fair, these now shouldn't get as hot because they're obviously the 6 watts against these being probably 3. So there we go, that's a couple of them in. So I'm trying not to hold the iron on these tracers too long either, because they're obviously a bit flimsy with age. We don't want to be burning them off. So we're just going to bend that away from there, just bend that a little bit over there. That's just to keep the heat away from those caps. And there we go. So that's the bias resistors and caps sorted out. We'll clean our flux off there now, and we'll move on. Right, I've done this capacitor here, and the trace again had gone on the hole there. It had some heat, and when we lifted it, the trace just came away. So what I've done is I've run the wire along this trace, soldered it up to the next point here, and that's nice and solid there. He's not going anywhere. Got a plate resistor in there, him, and the next plate resistor is here. So I'm going to get those in, the caps in, and then this board should be finished. Right, I've got all the capacitors in now except this mess here, which I'm going to sort out and change. And also, if we look down into these volume pots, you can see all this wire coming off here, and these are burnt, and dear oh dear. And then they soldered, you know, they're fixed on well enough, it's just looks a mess. So we need to change that. Is that on the tremolo? No, it's not on the tremolo. It's on the volume. So that must be a coupling capacitor then. So look where that's coming off. I thought that wire was loose, you know, and it has come away, that looped wire there. I'm beginning to wonder if something's been taken out of there. That doesn't look original to me. I thought that was coming loose. That jumper there, and that goes down that track there. Let's just see where that goes. That goes all the way to here, which is my tone control. Goes to that tone control there, so it comes back down, joins onto here. There's a plate resistor there by the look of it. That goes to there, goes to that brown wire, which that brown wire, can't see which pin that's on. Pin 1, yes, plate. So that must be connecting the plate bolts then over to that over there, and then that's getting blocked out by that capacitor there and the tone control coming back out into the volume there. That's where that's going. So we just need to tack that, redo that, don't we? It's no big deal, and we need to sort that out, and we need to have a look at these connections on here because they're very poor. And that's badly burnt there again, so, but I still think that's factory. There, burnt right through the insulation there, look. But I still think that's factory. I don't think anybody's done that. I think it's just factory. There's no really all of this. I think this they just broke the power. The capacitor just wouldn't quite reach, so they just added that on. All of this all looks. It's all from the factory up here. It's just somebody very sloppily putting this together, but never mind, we'll clean it up. Right, so we've done, this board's finished now. We've changed everything that needed to be changed on it. We tested this Weimar cap and it's fine. I've repaired this wire, changed this wire that was there because it was too short. Once we cut it off, it was all burnt. Replaced the shrink tubing on here. We've just pushed him down. We've got this capacitor here now, this 10 nanofarad. Yeah, it's a ceramic, but the good quality Vichy's. It'll do fine for this amp. So we've got him in there, and we've replaced that jumper that was repaired that jumper that had come away there. So that's all done, and I've cleaned the wax off the tube sockets, so they're clean. We've given them a good clean inside. So we'll see how they fare when we put the twos back in and power it up. Everything else seems pretty good on it. We'll just see how we go. So the next thing we turn his attention to now is the electrolytic on the top here. So move some tools. It's in a bit cramped up. So the electrolytic here, just remove those, that's what we had for testing. So we're going to get this out and change it, and then we're going to have a look at this. Transformer's in a bit of a state. We need to tighten that up, and we need to sort some resistors out and capacitors for this. That is 220 picofarad. I don't know if we've got any of those, and so is that. Sorry, 2,200 picofarad, not 220. 2,200, so 2.2 nanofarad. Did have some of those, but I've got a feeling we used them all. That might be a bit of a pain if we've not got any of those. And then of course we've got the power cable to change. But we'll focus on this electrolytic first. There we go, that's what's come out. TCC 50+50, British made. But that doesn't seem to be any date that we recognise, so I don't know. But anyway, let's get the new one in. Right, we've got the cap in there, so he's all ready. So the next thing we've got to look at the top. We've got quite a mess appearing on here now with bits we've cut out and things. So we're going to look at this. Right, ready to fire this up. We've got all the capacitors and resistors on that output transformer. We've got a 40-watt bulb in the current limiter to start off. Let's just see where we get. 120 volts, but remember we've got a rectifier tube on this, so until we get enough voltage into that rectifier we won't see any voltage, and we're not seeing any yet on the meter. Now we're down to 112 volts. Let's check these. Just try a 15-watt bulb in with it. So I've got 55 watts now. We're drawing some current. Oh, the amp's fired up. What's going on there? Oh, I pushed them in. They have to be pushed. So those leads have to be really pushed in on that. So there we go. That's what's wrong with that. 156 volts we've got going through it. Just put a meter on above here. Just going to have this meter on. See what we've got on here. $148. Let's see what's across this resistor. 8 volts at the minute. The reason I'm checking that is because I didn't have a 3-watt 1.5k, I only had a 2-watt, so I need to keep monitoring that because I need to do some maths on it. It will have to come out if it doesn't cut it. I don't know what the volts drop's going to be yet. Right, take both of those out now, just put 100 in. That should oof things up a bit. Yes, and you can see the voltage going up now. 224 volts. 226. Still got the humming because I'm afraid that's just the lead dress on this amp. Never get around it. It's just the nature of these amps. Right, 140 in there. Let's put both hundreds in there now. We've got 200 watts. That'll just about take us up where we need to be. Everything seems okay. We'll do some voltage checks, but everything seems pretty good. 258. See what's on that one. $61. And the plate resistor 84. 106. Looks pretty good. All the voltages check out. Right, let's flick it off the current limiter. There we go, 303, which is about what we had before. Right, let's just see what the volts drop. 20 volts. 266 milliamps, so that's fine. No problem. So that's good. So we can have, I suppose we better have a look at the bias roughly, see what that is. So we'll just do there we go. What's there? .5 volts. Can't quite see that, can you? There you go. 9.58 volts. Just do a rough 9.58 divided by 240. Take away 5% times. So 303. 294. 11.14. So yeah, that's not too bad. That's pretty much what I thought. We'd have around about 11 there. That's acceptable. Still under 100%. 100% would be ideal. In fact, we'd just need to change that one. We've already got that on ground. Just use that one there. And oh. And on that one we've got 9.9 divided by 294, 11.5 on that one. So just a shade over. So that's about bang on with those. That'll do nicely. They're a little bit out, aren't they? Those, but they're not massively out. Only half a watt or so. So I think that's a wrap on that. Of course, we've now got the power cable to change and then it's finished. So that's all looking good. Let's get it on the scope, but I think we'll get the guitar through it. Just have a bit of a check on those tone controls. So we've got we've got a problem there. So maybe got no sound. Let's try the other channel. We haven't in that one either. So we have got a problem somewhere then. With the guitar lead, it must have got broken during teaching. I've not realised it. Never thought that lead would be bust. But we're away. Thought something was wrong because I did a bit of checking through and I'd got signal on the input socket. So I thought, well, it's got to be the guitar lead, and it was. I've actually got one of these amps, but it's actually someone cut it down and just made a head out of it, and I restored it. I've had that some years now. Try the other channel. I mean, it's pretty quiet till you wind it up and it just gets a bit noisy, but then so do most of these type of amps. But it's okay. Something like that. So that sounds pretty nice. That really does sound sweet. Yep, that's pretty good. So we need to just get it on the scope and have a quick look just to make sure everything's okay. We just need to change that power lead, which is a bit dodgy. New plug on there, and we'll be good to go with this one. Right, I've got an array of test probes out here while we're doing this. So, had a look at this power cable, and we've had to make some changes for safety purposes. So, let's just have a look. So, the ground is now fastened into this fixing here, and there was only 2 fixings on this amp anyway. There's normally 6, but there'll have to be 5 now, because we've had to use that for the ground. They'd soldered the ground onto the transformer, which then ran through the PC board trace and came down to here at this far end, so we couldn't have that. So we've got a proper ground on there now. Now also, the strangest thing is we've got 2 fuse holders there, and I looked on the schematic, just get a bit further away. And this amp has got a fuse on the live and a fuse on the neutral, which I thought that was odd. So I then realised as well when I'd wired this up that obviously I'd got no HT fuse in this, and there's really nowhere to put one. So what I've done is I've left the fuse for the live on the primary of the transformer, and then I've took the other fuse that was on the neutral, because you don't need two fuses on there, and I've used that for the HT voltage. So now I've got an HT fuse in this amp. So I'm just going to fire it up on the current limiter just to make sure that I've not made any mistakes. We haven't got a short anywhere. Now, I don't have a fuse in the HT one at the moment. I've got the meter across it reading the milliamps, so we're going to have a look and just see what current draw we actually get on there. And I've got the signal generator going through it, or I will have when I've switched it on. I've got the current limiter is on, so we're going to switch on. I've got 30 watts of bulbs in the current limiter. Just looking at what current we're drawing on that meter now, you can see the voltage is now 171 on there, 38 milliamps going across there. Right, got the dummy load on now, but we're still on the 60 watt bulb. Got 168 volts going into it, as you can see there, and we've got 38 milliamps across that fuse. Now most of these amps have a 500 milliamp fuse in there, but I'm thinking we could do with something a bit less than that. Let's just see. So now I've put another 100 watt bulb in, so we've got 160 watts of current limiting. We've now got 68 milliamps, 69 milliamps, and that's climbing now. And I've got quite a nice sine wave on the scope as well. Decent, and you can see the tubes are drawing more and more current now as that's going up. So let's stick in a 100. We've got 200 watts current limiting. We're all looking good though. We could be off the current limiter in a second or two. 76 milliamps now we're drawing. We've got 215 volts going into the amp. Let's flick the current limiter off. $86, coming up to 87 milliamps. So looking good on the scope. Yeah, 87 milliamps ish. 300, there's our 303, exactly same as yesterday. That's looking good. Right, let's hone across to the oscilloscope. More or less. Let's just turn that a little. There we go. So let's go. Let's go for 50 volts. Let's turn up. And that looks very good. Very good. That's flat out. No crossover distortion anywhere. So that's looking good. That's the other socket. Let's go on to the other channel. We've still got to test the tremolo as well, haven't we? Not getting quite as much out of that socket, out of that input as the other one. That's the microphone input. Just switch off the gen. So that's pretty constant. We've got no spikes, no oscillation or anything going on there. We've got no spikes coming up there. That's all pretty even. That's just what I've done there is just the amp's flat out, turn the gen off and just turn the volts down on the volts division down on the scope. That's just the noise, the background noise of the amp. So that humming that when it's turned up flat out with a poor lead dress, that's just what we're seeing. But we're not seeing any spikes, which would indicate that there is some oscillation anywhere. That looks good, or as good as that can look. So 86, anything between 86 milliamps. So a fuse probably anywhere between probably 250, 300 milliamps. I think should do for that. 500 is a bit high. Say 300 milliamps should do it. That seems to be that. All seems to be together. I don't have any 300 milliamp fuses, not the long ones anyway, the 32s. So we'll have to order that, but that won't stop us giving it a blast. We'll put the 500 in for the time being. So we'll get it back in its case, and we'll give it a blast. Still got a little bit of frying, and I've just found something that I've missed. If we look on this microphone channel here, you can see we've got a 56k plate resistor. They've obviously put that in to keep, because of it being a microphone, I should imagine, to keep the gain down, make it lower gain. You can see on this one we've got, just here, we've got 100k and 100k there. So I've missed that. So we've still got a bit of frying. So I think I'm going to change that and put 100k in there. Right, we've got the speaker connected up. We've changed that 56k resistor and we've put 100 in there. A little bit low for guitar, that. But now there's no fixing bolts. They were missing on here, and we've used one hole on this side, which is fine because one will hold it. But we need 3 fixing bolts to go in here because those were missing. Actually, you can't see that, can you? On this side here and here. Right, we've got this Wem cooking on gas. So we'll have a listen. So that's now in that microphone channel, and that's got a lot more gain. Now we've changed that resistor. Always pays to check the schematic when you've worked on these amps, see if you've missed anything, and we did miss that. Pretty good. The speed, I mean, it could do with a better speaker in it, to be fair, but it's still not bad considering it's a very old speaker. Plug into here. tremolo. In fact, the microphone channel seems to have more gain than the normal guitar one now. There we go. That's a bit of rusty playing there. So, background noise, just very tiny bit of rustling, but you know, but the other option is let's change all the carbon comp resistors, and that, you know, we're looking at another 2 hours work on that. And obviously that's going to make the bill even more on this amp. It's quiet. It's certainly a lot better than it was before, because it was in a bit of a state. But yes, the head version that I've got has been cut off here, and I did completely restore that, but some years ago I'd forgotten about it really till I started working on this, and I was struggling to remember even working on it such a long time ago. It must be 5 years. But I know I completely restored that and changed all the resistors. But we've changed the plate resistors, so you know it was frying quite badly when it first came in. It's a tiny bit, but that's acceptable. You can't really hear it unless you really listen. So that'll do it, I think. As I say, the only thing it could probably do with a better speaker in it, but that doesn't sound too bad considering its age. Handle's a little chewed up, usual thing. It's a bit beat. I mean, it's a player's amp. It's, you know, you can see it's trod the boards over the years, but it should be good for another few years now. So that'll do it. So thanks for watching. You all take care, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye for now.